Hey now, Deadheads, we are back again with another fantastic Grateful Dead release on vinyl. And today it's this year's Real Gone Dick's Picks release, which of course is Dick's Picks Volume 12. Finally pressed on 6 LPs, 11 sides of music. And I want to talk a little bit about the recording itself, what music is on these records, as well as the pressing, this new release. It's really a fantastic pressing. I really want to celebrate the work that Real Gone has done to put this out on vinyl because it really is fantastic. But before we do that, I would like to show you what's inside the box. Starting things off, of course, we have the hype sticker, 6 LPs, 180-gram vinyl. But what's important is that it's remastered by Jeffrey Norman from the original tapes. They didn't do what the original Brookvale releases did and just press those old CDs onto vinyl, but this is actually a new transfer from the tapes, and you can really tell. In addition to this, you can see it is limited to 3,000 copies. On the front, we see this faithful reproduction of the original CD album art. It looks fantastic on this new 12 by 12 box. Opening things up, you can see there are some liner notes. And these are minimal liner notes, a faithful reproduction of the original CD liner notes with the track listing on one side. And then the moment we've all been waiting for, the records. These are in some really high quality MoFi style inner sleeves, but branded with Gotta Groove Records. And they did a fantastic job pressing this record. It's dead silent, the mix is fantastic, flawless across the board, in my opinion. And the labels on the records are, of course, pretty consistent with the rest of the Real Gone releases of Grateful Dead Dick's Picks records. On the back of the record, you see the track listing and hand-numbered edition. So my copy is number 80 out of 3,000. You'll notice that the caveat emptor from the original release, I think all 36 of the Dick's Picks series had various versions of Dick Latvala's caveat emptor, is missing from this, and I think for good reason. Now, as many of you know, Real Gone presses, I think, usually about one Dick's Picks release, re-release, reissue each year, typically pulled from the original tapes with the work of Jeffrey Norman. And I think that this might be the high watermark of the releases that they've done to date. Now, these are a couple 1974 shows, one from Providence, one from Boston. I believe it's set two from both of those nights. And that means one, 50th anniversary, even though the original Dick's Picks came out in the 90s, but also it means Wall of Sound. With the Wall of Sound comes its unique sound signature, for better or for worse. For better, you've got just really clear instruments, really great sound from the band. For worse, it's the vocals. Normally Wall of Sound shows, they had those, two microphones stacked one on top of each other to cancel out the feedback from all the speakers behind them. And that made the vocals just not sound so great in 1974. If you're a fan of the good old Grateful Dead cast like I am, Jesse Jarno does a fantastic job, but on a recent episode where they spent about 2 hours talking about Scarlet Begonias, he interviewed Donna Jean Godchaux, and even she was complaining 50 years later about the sound of the vocals from the Wall of Sound. Those microphones weren't really doing them very many favors. And so there's something clever here. I think Dick Latvala probably intentionally did this. Instead of doing a full show, and normally for the Dick's Pick series, I'm quite partial to, just give me a full show. Give me the first set, second set, encore. I want to hear the progression of the night. He did something clever here with 2 second sets that are quite heavy in the jamming. And that, of course, means less singing. I'm quite happy with how the jams are distributed here. It opens up with a really nice jam that goes into China Cat Sunflower. Fantastic opening. I think, side one is probably worth the price of admission alone here. A jam on side two, Beer Barrel Polka, if you can call that a jam. Maybe one of my favorite Dead versions of Beer Barrel Polka, also known as Rosamunda, for all those beer drinkers out there. And also on side two, you have a quick jam of the other one. Really interesting, very quick snippet of the other one that goes into a Spanish jam that's really fantastic. And so kicking things off, you've just got a really jam-heavy release. I think it all sounds fantastic. And as we progress, you've got a pretty quick jam, Phil and Ned Lagan on Sea Stones, and then the Weather Report suite segues into this really nice, long, drawn-out, really nice jam that continues onto a couple sides of the record, into a kind of spacey, far out there, drum driven, kind of mind melting jam that actually leads into US blues. And I'm not typically a big fan of US blues. I wouldn't go as far, I know some people call it useless blues. I wouldn't go that far, but a typical US blues doesn't really do it for me. This one does. They really kind of explore, get a little bit bluesy. I thought I was going to go into something like Nobody's Fault But My Own, but it actually goes into US blues, and it's a really nice US blues. So if you're the type to normally skip that song, I would not recommend skipping it on Dick's Picks 12. I also want to talk about the pressing quality of this release. Man, they knocked it out of the park. I was poking around on the Steve Hoffman forums a little bit, and a lot of folks agree that this release is dead quiet. Just really fantastic, clean sound. And so I want to give a big shout out to Gotta Groove Records. You can see the high quality sleeves that these releases come in, and it's high quality across the board. So they really knocked it out of the park. And I might go as far as to say this might be the best sounding pressing of a Dick's Picks release so far on vinyl. I might even go as far to say this is an audiophile pressing, and that might be a little bit controversial. That might be a little bit of a overpromise, but I think if you are an audiophile, you've got a really fantastic system. You want the live Grateful Dead experience. You can hear the crowd in the background at just the right times. You've got the scuffs and all. It's not going to be that MoFi or Rhino high fidelity American Beauty type audiophile pressing. But I think if you want a fantastic live Grateful Dead experience, this is the one to pick up. You're really going to feel the presence in this release because it is so high quality. But I'm curious what you think. If you pick this up, if you're one of the couple thousand people who have purchased this so far, do you agree? Is that an overstatement? Is that a little bit of an overpromise? Or am I right in saying that I think this qualifies as an audiophile pressing of a Grateful Dead release? Let me know down in the comments below what you think. So we know a little bit of what's on the radar. We've got Mars Hotel 50th coming out next month. We've got some Robert Hunter coming out soon. We still don't know what the box set is for this year, CDs or vinyl that's coming out. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's more tricks up Rhino's sleeve, whether it's a Dead.net release or elsewhere release for this year. I saw that I think it was Dead Set and Reckoning are getting a new 2024 remaster release. Those popped up on Amazon. I'm not sure if I need new remasters of those two releases. I like the original copies that I have, but they're fantastic releases. I'm sure they're going to do a great job. And there's still, I think, a lot to come from Rhino and Dead.net this year. And so I suppose we should just keep our eyes peeled, keep checking those monthly emails that they send out, and keep listening to the Deadcast for any clues to see what else might be in the pipeline for this year. And that's it for me today. I'll be heading out to Las Vegas for some Dead and Company pretty soon, and so I'll be probably posting maybe some shorts from the Sphere, but really looking forward to my Sphere experience for week 3 of the Dead and Co residency there. Let me know down below if you picked up this release and if you're enjoying it as much as I am, or just your thoughts in general. I'm curious to see if other Deadheads agree with me. That's it for today, though, so thank you so much. Peace.